Hello guys, welcome back, and in this lesson we are going to see how to to bind parameters and get them from the inputs, and generally how to insert them into the database. So if I go to our guy here, the create to do, of course, if I go to the view side, we need to have the name and the description. So I'm going to create those going to create those models. Say PHP artisan, normal Laravel stuff, make model, and they call this to do. So I'm also going to create the migrations here and say PHP artisan, make migration, create, what am I doing? Create to do's table, not to do. So once I have the migration and the model, let us just go now inside our database guy, migrations. Inside here, of course, we need the name and the description. So we have the ID. So I'll duplicate this very fast like this. And this will be, should be string, I believe. And then here we'll have the name. Also this one for now, just use string. Then we'll have the name and then the timestamp, that is okay. We'll go to the models, I'll go inside to do. I'll say, let us use fillable. And then I'll say I'll have the name. Then we'll have the description like that. And we are good for now. All right. All right, this should be description. So like that, and then I'll just migrate this table very fast here. CLS, PHP artisan, migrate. Let me actually change the name of the database in .env. Change this to to-dos like that, and migrate this database. The database to do does not exist. Yes, I want to create this. All right, running migrations. Yeah, we are good. So now, if I go now to the create, where is it? Let's go to the create to do. So now we need to have two properties here, and the first one, of course, is the name. All right, need the property name, and we also need the property description. This is the data that will be going to the database. All right, and then now we also need a method now that will save this data to the database. So I'll call this method public function save. So method in Livewire are known as actions. So what this thing will do is that it will get our to-do model. Let's see, to-do model, all right? And of course, we'll create some data here. This will be like this. And we want to say that the name that will pass there will be the name from our class, all right? This name like this. And we want also to say our description here, or rather the description that will be passed the database will be from this class. So that is why we're using this name here and this description here, and that will suffice for now. So we'll add the validation, the pagination, all those things will work with them later, but for now this is okay. Even the alert for telling us that we have added the data to the database. So the name and the description. So now the way you bundle or you bind this name and description to the input is that now if you have used view, in view we have the model or the view model, whatever. So in Livewire we have this thing known as wire model, all right? So I'll just say wire model like this, and then the name of course is name here. So what this will do is that it will bind this input to the property name. So the same thing here, I'll say wire model, and this will be description. So let me just show you what I mean here. Description misspelled here. So I'll just echo, for now I'll just use a paragraph here and just echo, let's say we'll echo the name and then the description here, so that you see this is a live update here. So description like this. So now if I go to our create here, so if I type the name here, it's not updating, and that is because I'm not doing a live update here. So to do a live update, maybe I can just add this guy.live here, and this will bind this data reactively, in a live sense. So every time I type here, it will update this data behind the scene. So let us try again and see. Yeah, see, now it works. All right, so if I remove this, if I say here description, see, now we have this. If I say here just some silly stuff, now we have this guy here, the name and the description. Now what that means is that we are getting this data on the create guy here. All right, this data is reaching here because that is what we are displaying right here. So it means that this data is binded. All right, so the next thing we need to do is, of course, we need to say when you're submitting this data. So we use wire submit. We say when you're submitting this data, submit like this. When you're submitting this data, we want to call a method, and this method is save. All right, and also method, to specify the method here, post, and I also like just adding this CSRF. I think Livewire does this behind the scene, but for now just do that method post, and when you do a submit, call this action or method known as save, and all this does is that it will store the to do. So let us try this and see. Let us use something that makes sense. Let us say, for example, reading, and description will be reading the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule. I'll submit this. All right, nothing happens, but if I go to the database, I do a refresh here, and now we have the data here, the 5-second rule, reading. So it means it is working. So you see the beauty of Livewire. I'm not being redirected, nothing. The form is being submitted, the data is being submitted, and I'm just right here. It's like you're working with Ajax, and but very minimal code. So that is how we bind parameters. So if you want to bind parameters, let me recap again. We use this wire model, and if you want to do a live update, we do .live. And if you want to submit the data, we use wire submit, and then the method post, and then here we need, of course, to create that method, which is save, and then create pass data to the database. And that is it, guys, on how to bind properties, to the inputs. And with that, bye bye, and let us meet on the next lesson.